Main call order, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Perkins Dusty.
Here.
Councilman Questa. Councilman Grover.
Here.
Councilman Torres.
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilman Keenan. Councilman Sedano.
Here.
Councilman Mazza.
Here.
President Cohen.
Here, seven members present, Madam Clerk. This is a regular conference of the City Council as incorporated in the annual meeting notice of 2013, which was filed in the City Clerk's office, posted on the bulletin board on December 27, 2012, and sent to the Star Ledger, Home News Tribune, in compliance with the provision of the Open Public Meeting Law of New Jersey. At this time, we have public speaking. Any resident or taxpayer would like to address City Council in the matter, please step forward, state the name and address. You have 5 minutes. And the City Council, the attorney will monitor the time for 5 minutes. So please state your name and your address for the record.
Where would you want me to stand, Council
Right
President?
where you are, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Luis Rodriguez, 31 Gregory Avenue, West Orange, New Jersey. And I've delivered a package to the city clerk, which I wanted all the council members to have, and the law department. And I'm just going to just quickly, hopefully I can do it in my 5 minutes because it's extensive information here that I really hope that council will take a look at it. And as I address the honorable city council, members of the city of Elizabeth, I would like to say to you that the reason I'm here is that all stories have 3 sides. You are mine and the truth. And I believe that, you know, under God and justice, I think this should be looked at. And some council members in opening, when I was here in front of you, and delivered some documents that are part of this package. I addressed the council chambers on July 23rd, 2012. And at the time, you know, the council voted majority, 5-4, to move forward with the recommendations of the administration on these 2 particular projects. However, at the time, those members that voted against me had said to me collectively that, you know, in the event that something came that it was just and fair, that something was wrong and this issue was resolved, they would absolutely consider, you know, revisiting this. And that's why I'm here tonight. And I say to you, number 1, again, the papers that I gave you then. Number 2, shame on me for hiring a lawyer that did nothing about it, Mr. Krepsky, and the Honorable Council did give me enough time, you know, for that to be cleared, and that didn't happen. However, I will tell you tonight, in following my agenda here, is that with regards to these 2 buildings, which are Kirk Center, 620 First Avenue, a beautiful building that houses 25 seniors, which have an outstanding maintenance records and quality of life, and also Millennium Gardens, which houses 24 affordable housing units, some 3 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. I want to tell you that as far those buildings are monitored by not only the City of Elizabeth EHIP, which has a minority investment in it, but also are monitored by the state of New Jersey, the NJHMFA, which stands for New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency, which are very strict. And the strictest part of these projects are, because they're under a pilot agreement, are bound by a different statute of what the city interpreted and the city council. They interpreted this pilot statute wrongfully as being part of the regular taxpayer statute, and they are absolutely wrong and incorrect. That's number 1. The state of New Jersey has letters, I have letters here of those buildings being in full compliance with all satisfactory law requirements, pre-qualifications, tenant selections, advertisement, all of the requirements which are incredibly strict under federal guidelines, which supersede EHIP. However, is not the case. EHIP thinks they run the show, but I'm not here to take that issue. I just want to go down the list, because if I do that, I really go off on a tangent and will be counterproductive for me to really, you know, inject into this, you know, any kind of madness or ill feel. But so I also say to you, for example, the City of Elizabeth claims that I used the basement in Millennium Gardens, 600 Fulton Street, illegally. They've been claiming that and shaming me and saying all of that when I have put in this package, and I say apparently the City of Elizabeth has failed to look at their records, which I know for a fact that the city attorney has the records, and they have I don't know if it's in the legal department or it's in Mr. Singaro's office, but the records are there. Mr. Singaro has been in meetings with me where the city council, special counsel Lanahan, has taken that position and embarrassed me in front of my partners, which have met with the city, and privately without me being a partner of this building, all behind closed doors and not being part of it. And it's all facts and it's all true.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah. So, oh, really? Okay. So, the records are here, where I have full approval going from zoning approval, building permits, and a CO. Okay? Number 2, I included to you a letter from my council so that, also an EHIP compliance letter that it's included in the package. So there's no issues with EHIP other than some things that are really, I would say, irrelevant, and it's all self-explanatory. Truly, I cannot be responsible for inspections that the city did not perform. I've always been available to that. Then, as I said, I've been constantly said that I've been billed erroneously, and as a matter of fact, let me just quick, because I know the council president is dying to pull the hammer, and that's okay. In conclusion, the city of Elizabeth has been overpaid $205,000 by my entities. Overpayment, and all the records are here in this paper. And I also recommend some things that I wish this honorable council will read this, and please, read it, comment, and let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other resident or taxpayer like to address the
Vamos,
council
mi amor.
matter, please step forward.
5
with your
minutes.
name and address.
That's the law.
Please.
My name is Robert Kern from the city. In view of the
night.
fact that the Honorable Frank Lautenberg has deported from life, there's a special election that has been called the Honorable Conservative Republican Chris Christie in August 2013, and I don't know who's going to win for the nomination.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other resident or taxpayer like to address city council in the matter? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
We have a Boy Scout here.
I don't know whether you want to speak. I
You want
know.
to say something?
Boy Scouts.
No?
Eagle Scout? I'm sorry.
Why don't you share what you're doing?
What's
He's
your name?
trying to get his Eagle,
That's right.
his Eagle Award.
Come on up and share.
He's going to get it.
Well, my name is Anthony Rios.
Good evening.
Address.
Good evening,
Good
Anthony.
evening.
Address?
134 Bond Street.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, well, I'm here as a Boy Scout. I'm listening to your guys' points of views, and then I'm gonna write them down. So, am I allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Being
Okay.
from St. Mary's.
So what what's your purpose here to listen to our meeting? You record that, that'll help you get your Eagle Scout?
Yeah, I'm working on a communications merit badge.
Oh, okay, good, okay.
Nice.
Well, I wish you well.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, any other resident or taxpayer like to address city council in the matter, please step forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Once again, any resident or taxpayer like to address city council in the matter, please step forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, close your portion of the meeting.
Letter dated July 9, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to WB Mason Company, Inc., Secaucus, New Jersey, and Patterson Papers, Patterson, New Jersey, for the purchasing of copy paper for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014, in the amount not to exceed $40,000.
Any questions? Wait around.
Letter dated July 10, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Bayway Lumber, Linden, New Jersey, for the purchase of lumber and associated materials for various departments for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any questions? Wait around. Thank you.
Letter dated July 10, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Feldman Lumber Company, Brooklyn, New York, for the purchase of lumber and associated materials for various departments for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any questions? Wait around.
Letter dated July 11, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Royal Printing Service, West New York, New Jersey, for the printing of sample election ballots for the 2013 primary and general election in the amount of $38,215.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 12, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting to renew the contract with Highway Service Corp., Elizabeth, for towing and road service for municipal vehicles for a period of 1 year commencing September 13, 2013 through September 12, 2014, under the same terms and conditions as the current contract.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 15, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the sale of the 1989 Federal Motors Hurricane Pumper to the Union County Fire Academy in the amount of $1.
Any question?
Mr. President, can we
Yes.
go back to the previous one about the bids?
Which one?
The highway toll, we renew, didn't we just did it for a year?
Well, I think what they have a 3-year contract, and they now they're renewing it after, this might be the last year, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. This might be the 3rd year.
All right, no problem.
Council?
Thank you.
Okay.
Letter dated July 15, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Motorola Communications and Electronics, Inc., Wharton, New Jersey, for the purchase of communications equipment and accessories for various departments for the period June 1, 2013 through May 31st, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 15, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Martorano Recreation Company, Spring Lake, New Jersey, for the purchase of site amenities for the O'Brien Park Playground at a total cost of $137,923.49.
Just do something.
I know.
Any question? Put it on.
What amenities they gonna have? A bar, grill? What's about, because amenities means, above and beyond the extra.
I think,
Can you just find out what the amenities are? Is it a sauna? Is it a steam bath?
no, I'm not gonna be that councilwoman.
Well, how am I supposed to know? That's
Okay,
the
well,
amenities.
we'll get it clear.
I'll find out
I
from
think
recreation.
I mean, is it, what
Right.
do you know, what you have?
we'll get it
I'll find
clear.
out.
Pool tables
recreation.
in the middle of the thing? Yeah. I mean, amenities is like a sauna, like a steam bath. Those are amenities.
Yeah, we'll get it clear.
Warm towel,
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookies at the end of the night. I mean,
That's a good question.
what is the an amenity means something.
All right. Hey, we'll get it clear for you. Okay.
I
We're not gonna
don't
hold
wanna
up, Tony, just get it clear.
No, I don't want to hold
Yes.
up. I just want to know what they are.
Yeah, that's right.
Put it on.
So I can take my family.
Give us 9 copies, and we guys should get a copy. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Letter dated July 17, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to enter into and execute a shared service agreement by and between the City of Elizabeth and the County of Union for utilizing services offered by the county, printing and signage shops for the city's own needs in conducting in-house business advertising and informational purposes. No fee to join.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated July 23rd, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Wireless Communications and Electronics, West Berlin, New Jersey, for the purchase of computers and computer accessories for the fire department for the period July 1, 2013 through August 31st, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated July 23, 2013, from the Business Administrator recommending awarding a contract to Martorano Recreation Company, Spring Lake, New Jersey, for the purchase of playground equipment for Holland Park at a total cost of $40,000.
Any question? I'm happy to see this moving forward. As you know, we have moved rapidly. We are trying to improve that park. Matter of fact, we decided to put a skateboard park at Holland Playground. And I'm gonna tell you, you wouldn't believe this, we haven't had the ribbon ceremony yet. I went past there about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and you couldn't get in the place. There were so many kids there. They can't wait. I mean, there was about 100 kids over there.
They haven't waited.
Exactly. I mean,
Every day.
Every day, and it's unbelievable,
They
unbelievable.
love it.
Most kids I've seen over there since I've had the playground over there.
Good.
So that is a win-win, anyway, it's a win-win situation.
See, you got some greens too.
Did I get
You got some greens over there.
some greens?
Yeah, plants.
No, that's the wrong place, wrong place.
Holland Playground.
Oh, well, with plants. I thought-
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about something else.
Yeah, that's why one morning they were watering at 7
Yes,
o'clock in the
I'm
morning.
thinking about something else. Never mind. Well, like you said, Melody.
I
That's
just
right.
said that's what the administration said.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I've seen less at McConnell Park, so I
Right.
guess we're sharing some with Holland Park.
Why we're taking over.
They love it because it's nice,
It's
it's real
nice.
different here.
It's different, yeah. Anyway, I think once you guys get there, those that haven't seen it, I keep around the councilwoman has been past like I have. Once you see it, you'll be thrilled.
Bring
Yes.
my skateboard.
Oh, absolutely, make you stand up.
You know.
Okay, go ahead.
Letter dated July 24, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Firefighter One Limited, Sparky, for the purchase of Interface, the new radio system for emergency services, at a total cost of $40,880.70.
Any questions? Very well.
Letter dated July 25, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Pierce Manufacturing, Inc., Appleton, Wisconsin, for the alterations to one Pierce pumper engine number 6 in the total amount of $6,383.
Any questions? Very well.
Letter dated August 1st, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Atlantic Uniform Company, Inc., Newark, New Jersey, for the purchase of uniforms, helmets, and other equipment for the police department for the period May 1, 2013 to April 30, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any questions? No. Put it on. Councilman, like you recognize Councilman Custer. He probably just finished doing a karate performance at next night.
Letter dated August 1st, 2013, from the Business Administrator, requesting authorization for proper city officials to renew an agreement with the Assembly of God Portuguese Ministry of Elizabeth, Inc., Elizabeth, for the use of the church's parking lot by city employees during normal business hours at a nominal fee of $1 per year from September 1, 2013 through August 31st, 2015.
Any questions? Very well.
Letter dated August 2nd, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to approve the policy of insurance with Western Surety Bond Company of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, through Hughes Plummer Associates, covering municipal court judges and the entire municipal court personnel for the period September 1, 2013 to September 1, 2014, at an annual premium of $1,565.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 2nd, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to A&A Painting Company, Hackensack, New Jersey, for the furnishing of painting of public buildings for the Department of Public Buildings for a period of 2 years from the date of the award in an amount not to exceed $100,000 per year for a total of $200,000.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 2nd, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to First Priority Emergency Vehicles, Manchester, New Jersey, for the furnishing and conversion for two 2013 or current model year Chevrolet Suburban Fleet commercial packages for equivalent in the amount of $142,600.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Independence Constructors, Bridgewater, New Jersey, for cleaning, inspections, monitoring of oil water separators above and underground tanks at various locations, and Department of Environmental Protection compliance for the period August 1, 2013 through November 30, 2013, at a cost not to exceed $50,000.
Any questions? Moving on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to AAT Communication Systems Corp., Staten Island, New York, for the purchase of DI recorder maintenance contract and upgrade to the SDS 24 digital channels for the Police Department at a cost of $24,574.20.
Any questions? Moving on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting that your honorable body consider rejecting Energy Services Company proposals and to authorize the purchasing agent to recommence the competitive contracting process for the purposes of selecting an energy services company to initiate an energy services improvement program.
Any questions? You okay? Moving on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for the proper city officials to enter into and execute an intergovernmental shared services agreement between the City of Elizabeth and the Parking Authority of the City of Elizabeth, allowing collaboration with the city and realize savings for public works construction projects by utilizing the city's membership in certain purchasing cooperatives.
Any questions?
This is not close to this one.
You okay? All right. Moving on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Business Administrator requesting authorization for an intergovernmental agreement with the Parking Authority of the City of Elizabeth, allowing for a dedicated and secured fenced-in area of the James D. Biasio parking garage, 210 Jefferson Avenue, to be utilized by the Elizabeth Police Department.
Any questions? Moving on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Business Administrator, recommending awarding a contract to Janice Wilson Esquire, Westfield, New Jersey, as redevelopment counsel for the period July 1, 2013 to June 30, 2014, at the rate of $175 per hour, not to exceed $90,000, unless further authorized by your honorable body.
Questions? Moving on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Business Administrator, requesting that your honorable body consider authorizing a 5-year lease-to-own agreement with RFP Solutions, Inc., Woodbury, New Jersey, for all equipment, maintenance, and service, commencing August 28, 2013, in the amount of $977,552 for new telecommunications system.
Question? Moving on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the city attorney requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute an access and use agreement with the County of Union between Bridge Street and South Street in order to construct and maintain the River Trail Phase 2 for a 20-year period. And also, there's, another agreement to execute a temporary access agreement with the County of Union for archaeological study between Bridge Street and South Street before construction in order to satisfy Green Acre requirements for Phase 2.
Any questions?
For 20 years, that's an agreement for 20 years, did I hear correct?
Yes.
Why we need so many years to do some archaeology research or whatever before they do some repair? Do you need a 20 years span?
Tony, I think this is like a
That's
stamp.
not 20 years.
It's not
That's
20
not
years.
the 20
Not
years.
the 20, that's not the 20 years.
Somebody said 20 years.
I think the first one was
Construction.
Phase 2.
Oh, phase 2.
Yeah, Phase 2.
All right,
Phase 2, Council.
but it didn't say 20 years. Okay,
Yeah, you okay?
thank you. Yeah, no problem.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the city attorney requesting to amend the resolution dated July 23, 2013, to retain legal counsel for representation of the city and city employees in tort litigation where LaPorte, Bundy, Varity, and Kinsella Esquires have conflicts of interest, specifically to include Edwin R. Matthews Esquire, Summit, New Jersey, at the rate of $175 with a cap of $65,000 for the period July 1, 2013 to June 30, 2014.
This is a new group, Tony? This is a new group against you?
LaCourt Bundy?
No.
No. This is for conflict counsel. This person was supposed to be in the last batch, but inadvertently got omitted.
Got it?
Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah, inadvertently, the following attorney was accidentally omitted.
But he
Please
has,
amend the resolution.
he has says he knew.
It's a new, it's not a new group?
What do you mean? What do you mean by new?
Yeah, new attorney.
New attorney?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's a new attorney, right? That's
Yes.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's
That's
what I asked.
Okay.
Okay, Well, and I guess we put it on, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the July 2nd conference, okay, there were 2 letters dated July 2nd, 2013 from the Chief Financial Officer requesting bond ordinances for the Elizabeth River Flood Control Project in the amount of $7,500,000 and for the firehouse construction in the amount of $3,200,000. And they were removed from the agenda set up for July 23rd. Okay, the Chief Financial Officer is requesting to place those 2 requests on this agenda
Do
for
we have them,
consideration.
here?
You received it in your July 2nd.
Yeah, I said we had it before.
On that issue, Mr. President, if I may,
Yeah, go ahead.
is the Bayway acquisition, Bayway home, is that gonna be on our agenda?
Polish home.
No.
Still being held
My
up?
understanding,
Is it about the
yeah,
Polish?
it's still
Yeah,
a hold up
soccer.
with.
Polish?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Polish home, I think.
It
is
was,
council.
it was pulled the last,
Right, it was,
Right.
right.
Yeah, no, they're still working it out.
There's still a
the
snag
details.
with it, so
okay.
I'm hoping we
Yeah,
can
still
work that
going
through
to
council.
bond terms as to the inclusions.
Is this something that we might get resolved between now and our general meeting?
No, this is gonna be resolved, I'd say, by September, October.
You okay, Councilman?
Yeah.
Okay,
But it's on,
Yeah.
it's on the,
so we're gonna put that,
it's on our.
this one on, right? You wanna put this on, right?
Those 2.
Yeah, that's still fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but why was it held before though? I-
No, it wasn't held.
It wasn't held,
pulled.
I think they pulled it off.
Oh,
It
why
was
It
pulled
It was
for,
pulled.
usually we don't like to have bond ordinance go out in a month before and a month after the year-end closing. There's a snag in the financial reporting, and in the first month of the year, we don't have our surplus numbers and our financials ready until, the 3rd or 4th week, so. There's a window there that you just have to cut off. Well, now it's okay, going through August. There's no particular reason for it being held up other than that.
Okay.
Letter dated July 17, 2013 from Chief Financial Officer requesting authorization for the tax collector to credit said individual taxes who are entitled to a senior citizen or disability deduction and a veteran deduction for the 2013 tax year as per the delineated list in the amount of $5,000.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Chief Financial Officer advising that transfers for the 2013 state fiscal year municipal and sewer utility budgets may be necessary.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Chief Financial Officer advising that temporary emergency appropriations for the 2014 state fiscal year municipal and sewer utility budgets may be necessary.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Chief Financial Officer requesting to exceed the 2014 state fiscal year appropriation cap up to 3.5%, which includes a 1.5% increase in excess of the increase in the final appropriations otherwise permitted by the local government cap law. Revised amount of the increase is $6,173,940.
Any questions?
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer, advising that an application is required to be filed with the local finance board for a waiver of the down payment of $1 million regarding the waterfront improvement bond ordinance for Hurricane Sandy related improvements.
What are we doing here?
We're waiving the requirement to pay it.
Now, we have a bond ordinance that'll be on for August 27th, the amount of $20 million for the waterfront destroyed by the Sandy hurricane, okay? And normally, you would have to put up the 5% for a down payment. So we can avoid that. They have statutes and legislation. We have to fill out certain forms and go to the local finance board. And we can have that waived. So that'll be built into the bond ordinance and any financing. And on that bond ordinance, we'll see that later on, a couple pages down, but we're going to be reimbursed 90% from FEMA. We anticipate it, so.
Good.
President?
Once we get that, then that's when we start working on, when we'll start working on this.
No, we get reimbursed after that. Yeah. I don't know the exact date. I just have to go for bids.
I get questioned, I know Councilman Torres, probably Councilman Grover also, get questioned about people hit you every other day, a week, when they're gonna work on that.
Well, the bond ordinance will be on for the 27th, it'll probably be adopted in September, 20 days after, so I guess sometime after 1st of October.
So
in that area.
talking about next year.
No, this year. I thought we'll have the bond ordinance when they actually start.
Before they finish.
Next year.
I actually talked to the director of Public Works, and their time schedule is hopefully they have everything done right before 4th of July of next year.
That's what I figured next year, that's what I'm talking about, completion next year. Yeah, which is. Huh? Yeah, Councilman, Matt, say it again? Councilman, Isaac, you got something?
Yeah. This $20 million bonding is only for the waterfront, it's also including beyond your property, Elizabeth River from, Midtown all the way down to the waterfront.
Oh, no, that's a different project.
That's a different project.
That's a $7 million project that we
That's a
talked
different
about
project.
before.
That's what I'm-
Control project. No, it's just a waterfront.
Yeah,
Just
for
the
the water.
damage that was done, okay. no problem.
Marina,
You're right,
the boardwalk, etc. You'll see that a little later on.
right.
All right, no problem.
You okay,
That's
Councilman?
on my
Yeah,
stuff.
because you know that got wiped out with Hurricane.
Yeah,
Sandy.
I know.
Okay.
Are we getting further any federal reimbursement for any of the damage down
I
there?
don't know, we're getting this.
80%.
90%.
90%, don't get first, right?
Excuse me.
Yeah, 90%.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'd be great.
No less, no more.
we okay? Okay,
Mr. President, I could just go back to the last, that cap ordinance
okay. I held it.
appropriation.
I held it because I think somebody gonna.
You know, I'm just wondering
Good.
how this is in the future going to impact any increases to our residents.
No, it doesn't.
I held it a long, I held it a long time before I said put it on.
You know, any tax
We've
increases or any
no,
increases
no.
on residents as a result
No,
of
We've introduced
exceeding the
this,
cap?
we've introduced this every year for the last 20 years.
Okay,
It's never been exceeded over this 2%, 2.5%. It's just a formality in case there's an emergency, a natural disaster, etc. We've never utilized it though, but what happens, we have the opportunity here to bank this amount that we're not going to use this year, the following years in case an extraordinary expense comes up. But we've never used it. It's a formality that was just put in the budget just in case, that's all.
But those $6 million have been collected from our taxpayers.
No,
Has not been.
no.
So where is that money coming from if we're gonna bank it?
In case, it would be from future years, let's say. When you say, that just allows you to go over the
Right, but my
the
question,
minimum.
that's
No,
in case of an emergency.
No, here's the thing, you have a threshold on the expenses, you can't exceed expenses by 2%. Okay, last year was 2.5%, this year it's 2%. Okay, and we never exceed expenses over 2%. In case we do, okay, you have the ability to go up to another 1.5% of emergency funds. Okay.
And where are those funds?
they would come out as a deficit for this year and collect it in the following year. But it's not anything that we're putting cash up front and spending any money. It's just in case.
See, I knew I was doing right. I
Yeah.
had to-
Yeah,
I had
we-
a long time before I
Yeah,
said
well,
it.
we go through this every year, so.
What,
Many
I
days
got, I have one
so it
question.
is.
Hmm?
I have one question.
Sure.
What constitutes an emergency?
Anything over, any over expenditure.
What-
Anything over that,
What did that mean?
anything could happen.
Anything, what do you mean anything?
Any Hurricane, any type of natural disaster, any
Something like
unforeseen
that.
type
Your
of
sewer
expense.
line,
Could be anything, could be anything that happens.
Not increasing salary.
No, we don't, no,
But,
no, that's all by contract.
but,
Yeah.
and Tony, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if we do have snowstorms that exceed our budgetary amount, and we now have to clean all these extra snowstorms, and we have to pay these guys extra overtime,
I mean,
then yes.
contracts, outside contracts.
No.
No, our general.
Our
Our
general-
guys.
Our guys?
We budgeted, what did we budget for snow removal?
And usually, well, we have a reserve of
A million.
a million for
Million.
snow removal. yeah.
All right, so if
We've
we
had that on for years.
had a 1996, for example.
You're right.
Mhm.
Okay, we exceeded that million. So that extra would fall into this.
And that would impact the following year.
The following.
Right.
That was my question. We
Yeah.
collect this money from our taxpayers.
Right.
It's just allowing us to go over our budget, basically credit card,
Yeah.
and then get paid next year back.
Was 96 the only year that we ever went over?
96 was big.
It was $1 million,
Big storm.
$1 million over budget. We had to file for,
The
Treasury.
96 was a horrible storm, baby.
Leo was born that week. I remember that clearly.
All night long, I was plowing snow.
Shut down the Parkway and took the 78 and there.
Okay, okay, guys. Thank you, guys. I was doing right, holding it aside. Okay.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Chief Financial Officer requesting approval of the bond ordinance authorizing environmental engineering compliance and remediation, including demolition and/or soil removal and related work on various properties owned by the city, including but not limited to the following facilities: City Yard, Elizabeth Annex Building, Fire Headquarters, Mickey Walker Recreation Center, and the Elizabeth Marina, in the amount of $800,000 with a down payment of $40,000.
Mr. President,
Yeah, good, Councilman.
I'm a little concerned with this because we just built the city yard on a piece of land that was given to us by the state of New Jersey. They paid for the whole thing. Why do we now have to, after it's all built and done, have to spend money remediating? Can we find out
Yeah.
exactly what we're doing
Yeah, I'm
here?
concerned also.
I mean, $800,000 is almost $1 million. Fire headquarters, again,
Same thing
brand new
with
building.
Yep.
I just don't see, the Elizabeth Marina, we're gonna redo the whole marina now. I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing with this $800 million, $800,000.
Yes.
Well, Mickey Walker Center's been there for ages.
Is this an emergency?
No.
Can we hold this up?
No, as far as I know, it's not. But I could get you the information over the next couple of weeks, if that'll help.
Well, let me,
rather than
I was just
put it on
going to ask Councilman if he gets the information between
Well, I'd
now.
like to know what we're spending
Yeah.
$800,000 on.
hold. Well, if I can get that in the next couple of weeks.
If we get that next couple of weeks before we meet,
Okay.
you put it on, good enough?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. So Tony, get that to us before.
Because if there's contamination at the facility at the city yard, the state should pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave us the
Yeah.
property,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we're not holding.
No, we pending, he can get the
I want to get
information.
the information. I'll
You
check
gotta get the
the
information.
Director of Public Works. And
Councilman, if he
hopefully
does
that'll
not get the
explain it.
information, then
Because I know we hired experts
we, yeah.
before we built that. We spent a lot of money. That facility cost us $60 million.
A lot of money, yeah.
And I know we did
And I didn't approve
remediation.
any of those change
I know you
orders,
did.
because it was, and you see why, this is the reason why.
But we didn't pay for it, the state
It
did.
doesn't matter.
But the
still-
point is that we
still-
did hire engineering, there was people hired to do environmental assessments, and so I'm trying to figure out, what are we spending at the city yard?
Yeah, we'll get the detail on the 800,000.
You're right, Councilman, even with the marina, I mean, it's gonna bond 20 million, that can't be included in that?
9 copies.
That's just a
Oh, sure.
curriculum. The marina should not be included, no.
It's, there's some questions.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll put it on pending information.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer requesting approval of a bond ordinance authorizing the cost of construction of the Elizabeth River Trail Phase 2, including the construction of a pedestrian bicycle pathway, lighting, benches, trash receptacles, signage, landscaping, fencing, stormwater drainage, piping, and other inlets and appurtenances required for proper and safe stormwater management in the amount of $1,600,000, with a down payment of $80,000, anticipating a matching grant of $600,000 from Green Acres.
Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. President, we do have activity that will be taking place, work with almost about 16 million, 17 million with the river to be fixed, with, the walls, etc. What impact will this have with us? Shall we hold on to this until the job is done, and then they will be able to come in and do this other job?
Well, I don't think they'll have any impact. I'll have to check with the public
I'll
works
check with them and then-
But I don't think they'll have any impact on the walls or anything. It'll be adjacent. In fact, I don't think it's even gonna touch the walls.
On that side,
It's
probably
gonna
be
go
alongside.
on the street side, because that just goes all the way around. from the,
Let's find out whatever,
Oh,
then
yeah.
you could put them on. Mr. President,
Yeah.
put them on, and then we'll find out what NC has.
Say what can
I
council.
said, put this on,
Yes.
and we'll
I'll
get
get
some answers.
information.
Get 'em.
Okay.
Very well.
That has any impact on it.
Councilman Grover?
I just have one comment, and it's been, seems to be history in the city. We were doing all these great things, these pathways, we did the waterfront down by us, Councilman. And unfortunately, we don't hire the manpower to maintain these. Okay. So we put out these benches, we're gonna put out the trash receptacles, lights. I mean, I had a gentleman come to see me over the weekend who tried to walk down the part of the waterfront boardwalk that has not been damaged, and there's overflowing garbage cans. Okay. So, if we're gonna do all of these nice things, we gotta have the manpower to maintain it. We don't have any crews working Saturdays and Sundays emptying garbage cans in the city. I mean, Monday mornings, there's just trash receptacles overflowing all over the city. So, if we could just speak to the Public Works Department, whoever's in charge of this project, that as part of this development, that they allot some of the money going forward to maintenance. I mean, benches get graffitied, and it just, you build it, looks beautiful the first day, and then it never looks that way again. So I just gotta make that comment, because we've done this repeatedly. It's like a broken record. The amount of beautiful things we do in this town, and then there's no upkeep.
Right.
So, we did the football fields downtown, the waterfront, beautiful fields. We got a guy there that watches the gate, but when he's not there, you go there the next day, there's litter all over the place on these fields. He'll tell you, right, the councilman, you see it. I mean, there's just not enough manpower to support this, and I think little by little, we have public works and recreation employees who are passing away, retiring, and we're not filling those spots. And I think the city has to really start focusing on replenishing the employees. I have no problem with bonding money, but some of it has to go to salaries.
Absolutely, I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, I concur with you. Anything else? Okay, put it on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer requesting that City Council consider approving a bond ordinance authorizing the reconstruction of the Elizabeth waterfront due to Hurricane Sandy, which damaged the Veterans Waterfront Park, the marina, the recreation pier, the hike, bike, and roll throughway, Marcianti, Millette Jackson Park, and the Atalanta Public Access Walkway in the amount of $20 million, anticipating that FEMA will reimburse the city 90% of all eligible costs.
Okay.
Ditto what I just said before.
Yes, good response. Okay.
We painted the rails on the waterfront, the boardwalk, only because we had those kids working that week, that year. What was that program we had,
Oh, with the
Councilwoman?
youth playing, working at, in the summer?
I don't know which program.
In the summer youth program.
Yeah, 2012, we had all the kids, we had
Summer-
all the
summer youth
second
program.
chance,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
okay? It was with that program that we had all the rails along the boardwalk repainted. Other than that, we've never had them done.
Oh, that's nice.
So we gotta get more manpower if we're gonna start doing these kind of
Well,
things.
Councilman, at the end of it, what you just said, that's the type of program I think we should have almost every year.
You're right.
Yeah.
I had no problem with it, but we gotta have the manpower to do it.
Yeah, good, yeah. Yeah, Councilman, question?
Mr. President, I agree with Councilman Grover. It seems to me that in addition to manpower, we should look at the effectiveness of what we have in place now. Because that has been raised in the past. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whomever is assigned to do this kind of job, the supervision, I guess, would be where I would emphasize my point. Supervision of this employees who are supposed to be doing certain things. I think that's crucial too. I think that's an area that we really should look into as well, in my opinion,
I agree.
from what I have seen.
Okay. Thank you.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from Chief Financial Officer, advising that in compliance with the state fiscal year 2014 Appropriations Act, it requires your honorable body to approve all payments related to accumulated uncompensated absence benefits.
Put it on.
There's a list of current
course.
payments, it doesn't have, where's the list?
They're usually attached.
Oh, I just received one late today. There's only one person leaving
One
from
person?
the health department, yeah.
Okay.
And that'll, we'll have that for the,
You want that?
August
Want that by the
27th.
time we,
No.
you said one person.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll have that resolution for the August 27th meeting.
Okay.
All right.
There's only one person.
Thanks, Tom.
Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just to go back to these two projects, the waterfront and the river trail.
Trail?
Maybe an idea we can come up with is assign somebody to be in charge of maintaining those new developments. You know, as part of the budget, they put 2 men, whether they're city employees that are regularly there, or hopefully we can hire some new guys, but to maintain on a 7-day-a-week, keep this $20 million development nice looking, or the $2 million river trail nice looking, you know? Because if we don't assign somebody that's their responsibility, it's just gonna get caught up in.
I understand, I hear you. The only thing is, my problem is, you just gotta be so careful when you make that assignment. You gotta make sure that person has more than just that one
Well, I agree.
particular job to do.
Listen, one job is, but
Yeah.
have somebody be responsible for that and accountable for that,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
okay?
Accountability.
So that if you say, John, your job is, as part of your normal daily activities, you have to make sure that that stretch is clean, and it doesn't get clean, well, then John is the guy that's responsible, as opposed to just leaving it open to whoever.
Isn't it assigned to,
That comes back to his point. It comes down to supervision.
I was just gonna say that, isn't it assigned to the Public Works or from someone from the county? I'm just talking about
No,
River Trail.
I don't know if the
Trail.
river chose the county, I think it's the city. We're doing it.
We're responsible for it, maintenance, well,
So whoever if it's Public Works or Recreation,
Right.
whoever that supervisor is in charge of that ward should be held responsible.
right. So what we'll do is, we'll find out, there again, because you know, they always nitpick between Public Works and
Yeah,
and-
Recreation.
And recreation, you know, it tears me apart. So we'll find out who's responsible for those areas, you follow me? In the river trail and also down in marinas. Whether it's recreation, public works, 'cause that's not recreation, it's public works.
It's sad to our city residents that we're gonna spend $20 million refurbishing that.
Oh, I agree.
And you go there on a Sunday morning and you got garbage cans overflowing, you got beer bottles all over the place. There's no enforcement by the police about public drinking. And just nothing goes on. I mean, it's a free-for-all. And it's a shame.
And maybe with the new councilman, maybe there'll be some changes.
Well, here's what you need to do. I can only reflect back to my goal.
We look forward, because we keep talking about,
Yeah.
like, the past.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the forward.
Right.
That we're not gonna redo it all.
But maybe
So
we
let's
have a
do
new
what-
councilman, give him an opportunity to
It's
work.
not the count,
It is.
It's not the council.
I'm
It's
not
the
saying
council.
it's the council person's fault,
No.
It's
but
not the
I just simply said that there's a new council person there. Maybe he will be able to enforce some of the things we're talking about. That's all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, Councilwoman, it's not our job to enforce.
Well, you know.
It's our job to
in terms of
it's our
enforce.
job to look forward, like you mentioned.
Right.
Right,
And now that we're
I'm-
investing this kind of money, looking forward that they assign people
I
to
know,
start
but
addressing.
let's just
I
move forward.
I can tell
Let's
you,
move
I tell you the
forward.
simple solution, since the simple solution is that they have to change their work program habit. And like I said, I can only reflect back the time that when I was at the county, where how we had set up. But, you know, the county employees work on the weekends. And that's all they need to include someone doing weekend chores on weekends, and it'll solve your problem. I'm telling you, it works.
I agree.
Okay, move on.
Letter dated July 2nd, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute any and all documents necessary to discharge the city's second mortgage E-Port Commercial Loan Program mortgage agreement and the cancellation of the affordability agreement on the property located at 132, 134 First Street in the amount of $25,000.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated July 2nd, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute any and all documents necessary to discharge the city's second mortgage UEZ commercial loan and cancellation of the affordability agreement on the property located at 1120, 1122 Dickinson Street in the amount of $90,000.
Any questions? Very on.
Letter dated July 8, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization to enter into a CDBG agreement with United Youth of New Jersey, Elizabeth, for funds to help cover costs for participation in the Miss America pageant in Atlantic City for the period July 1, 2013 until December 31st, 2013 in the amount of $4,625.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated July 23rd, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute any and all documents necessary to discharge the First-Time Homebuyer Program, ADDI Deferred Payment Loan Program, city's second mortgage, and cancellation of the deed of easement and restrictive covenant on the property located at 108 South Park Street in the amount of $12,075.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated July 30, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization for the proper city officials to execute any and all documents necessary and appropriate to provide a rental housing program deferred payment loan on the property located at 848 East Jersey Street for the rehabilitation of one program-assisted unit in a 3-unit project in the amount of 60.
Any question?
Yes, $60,000.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, recommending awarding a contract to Dynamic Earth LLC, Chester, New Jersey, to perform a supplemental environmental remediation concerning groundwater wells and monitoring for the period August 28, 2013 through August 27, 2014, at a cost not to exceed $156,000 unless further authorized by your honorable bodies.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting to amend the resolution dated June 12, 2012, which authorized a deferred payment repayable loan to Oaks at Westminster Urban Renewal LLC in the amount of $1,621,674, specifically to increase the total loan amount by $301,500 due to change orders related to demolition, framing, and lead-based paint remediation, thereby raising the amount of the contract to $1,923,174.
Any question? Very on.
Letter dated August 5, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting to rescind the resolution dated May 14, 2013, which authorized a deferred payment repayable loan to Parker's Walk Urban Renewal, LLC, in the amount of $571,877 due to the failure to receive financial approvals from the state of New Jersey for the balance of the project work.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 5, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting to amend Chapter 8.80 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Regulation of Vacant and Foreclosing Residential Properties, specifically Section 3.8.80.30 Registration and Section 6.8.80.60 Enforcement and Penalties.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization to reallocate $46,730.35 in Community Development Block Grant Funds to the Elizabeth Development Company, First Street, Elizabeth, to administer the on-the-job training and placement program through the Elizabeth Court Presbyterian Center Family Success Program to connect adult and dislocated workers in the city with training and employment opportunities.
Any question? Yeah, Councilman Torres?
Is this, Pat, maybe you could correct me, is this the Elizabeth Work Program? Is this,
I think it's part of it.
it's part of
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because I think they're gonna be using the, Elizabeth Park Presbyterian Center. Yeah, which is good, because it's still in the court.
You okay? Okay, put it on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization to reallocate $126,177.26 in Community Development Block Grant Funds to the Union County College's Retail Skills Center at the Outlet Collection at Jersey Gardens Mall to help launch a customized employment training and certification program for Elizabeth residents.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated August 5, 2013, from the Director of Planning and Community Development, requesting authorization to reallocate $11,500 in Community Development Block Grant Funds for Trinitas Regional Medical Center to install a mid-block handicap accessible crosswalk.
Any question? Put it on. Put it on.
Letter dated July 8, 2013, from the Director of Public Works requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached here to for the boarding up of said properties in the amount of $1,937.50.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 8, 2013, from the Director of Public Works requesting permission to have liens placed against properties listed on Schedule A attached hereto for the removal and disposal of debris from said properties in the amount of $10,015.71. We have another one in your package for $9,574.97 and $10,100.14.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 24, 2013, from the Police Director requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the New Jersey Department of Transportation Highway Safety Fund Safe Corridors grants to be used for procurement of enforcement equipment and apply to overtime salaries for police officers patrolling Route 1 in Elizabeth in an amount not to exceed $59,150.66.
Any question? Put it on.
Letter dated July 26, 2013, from the Police Director requesting to establish handicap parking spaces. And these are personalized. First Ward, 143 Inslee Place.
Put it on.
Second Ward, 74 Clover Street.
Put it on.
Sixth Ward, 532 Fourth Avenue.
Put them on.
First Ward, 124 First Street.
Put it on.
Second Ward, 509 Rawway Avenue.
Hold on.
First Ward, 327 East Jersey Street,
Put it on.
and 112 Front Street.
Put it on.
Deletions, 25 Christine Street, 242 Fulton Street, 218 Delaware Street, 426 South Fifth Street, 900 Grove Street, 405 Elizabeth Avenue, and 1445 Concord Court. Councilman Torres has requested that the following handicap be put on the agenda. Personalized at 548 Marshall, regular at 229 South 2nd Street, 32nd Street, 442 Elizabeth Avenue, 320 Clark Place, 155 Franklin Street, 29 2nd Street.
Yolanda,
Yes,
can you put up 35, I think it's DR Place?
35 D Hart.
Yeah, I placed them on hold, I think about a month ago. And we had the last pre-council meeting, and then I met with the people. There's a child of 3 years old, I think.
Okay,
I can't remember, otherwise I have to call you tomorrow to tell you the exact name and address.
okay.
Thank you.
The address is good. Okay. No, I haven't. We don't hit that, and yes. Okay. We're not done
I
yet.
don't think so. Let's get it out of here.
Letter dated July 30, 2013, from the Police Director requesting authorization for the proper city officials to apply, accept, and sign all appropriate documents for the 2013 State Body Armor Replacement Fund Program to purchase life-saving equipment for law enforcement officers.
Any questions? Put it on.
Letter dated August 5th, 2013, from the Police Director on behalf of Hidea Home Fashion, 1111 Jefferson Avenue, recommending the installation of a loading zone on Virginia Street between the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Put it on.
Letter dated August 6, 2013, from the Police Director requesting to amend Chapter 10.8.10 of the Code of the City of Elizabeth entitled Four-Way Stop Intersection, specifically to include Pennington Street and Standish Street.
Put it on.
All right. These are not letters, these are receipts. There's two receipts, one dated March 13, the other March 28, 2012, for Helen Hell, 370 Chestnut Street, Union. They are requesting a refund of 2 bonds posted totaling $2,400 for the setting of 4 monuments at 560, 596 Bursick Street, 700 Dowd Avenue, 630, 640 Dowd Avenue, which have been properly set in accordance with the requirements of the New Jersey map filing law and approval by the Division of Engineering.
Question? Put it on.
For National Night Out, we have commendations for James Carey, Kaheen Best, Liliana Fornes, Deputy Chief Donald Peterson, Captain Steve McConnell. Okay, firefighter Patrick Workus, firefighter Sean Horton, and the Elizabeth Police Department Community Services Operation Division Street Crimes Unit. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Letters dated July 8, July 15, and July 25th from the city treasurer submitting the treasurer's report of receipts and disbursements for the month of April 2013 and statement of bank balances and investments as of April 30th. And then we have May 2013 with the bank balances and investments as of May 31st. And June 2013, statement of bank balances and investments as of June 30, 2013. Also, you have your Fair Rental Housing Board minutes for April 17, 2013.
Put it on.
Okay? I have a memorial for Mr. William Best.
Yes.
Okay?
That's it.
And also in your package from the County of Union, they have submitted a resolution for marriage equality. and religious exemption under the, for your support or. Okay. Now we have to go into closed session.
A motion to go into closed session.
Okay, whereas,
2 seconds. Somebody
second?
Yeah, Torres.
okay, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss the matter falling within the attorney-client privilege, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from the meeting. Councilwoman Perkins Auguste.
Aye.
Councilman Questa.
Aye.
Councilman Grover.
Aye.
Councilman Torres.
Aye.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Sedan.
Aye.
Councilman Mazza.
Aye.
President Call.
Aye.
We'll be in front of the council on the 27th of August, okay? And make our recommendations at that time and see if council agrees.
Okay.
We do have a counter offer on the table. We can't discuss it right now, but we'll see what happens on the
Okay.
19th.
I'll pray with you though.
Yes. Don't we all?
And there's also, you said, a public hearing on the 27th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, on the Board of Ed, as you know, we all received a letter back from the New Jersey Department of Education. Basically, they answered my letter, which was complaining about the 7.5% increase. The New Jersey Board of Ed has allowed that 7.5% increase to go forward, and the Board of Ed confirms that. What impact that has on the city taxpayer is for the year 2014 coming up. We discussed this before, that 7.5% increase will mean there'll be a $210 tax increase for the average taxpayer. In the last 5 years, the Board of Ed has increased the taxes by $800 for an average homeowner. Their total tax levy has gone up from 38 million to 52 million. The tax bill from the Board of Ed is approximately 25%. So if you're paying $8,000 in taxes, $2,000 of that is going to the Board of Ed. Okay, the financial spokesman for the Board of Ed, Commissioner Trujillo. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. Trujillo states that he is proud of the budget and that taxpayers would be glad to pay the extra taxes. That's a quote from the last meeting. That's unusual. The persistent poverty rate in the city is 18%, unemployment 13%, and the median income is 54% of the state average. But yet, he's proud that the taxes will be increased. The Commissioner, and I get home today, and this is the article that I see from the Board of Ed. It's their letter. It says visions. What they're trying to do, you got the Commissioner Trujillo trying to make a comparison between the city taxes and the Board of Ed taxes. I can only characterize these graphs and studies as being a distortion and misrepresentation of facts. They have to be intentional. You can't be that naive. Basically, the difference between the Board of Ed and the city gets $30 million a year in aid. The Board of Education gets $450 million in aid. Now,
From the state.
from the state. Now, in the last 5 years, this is hard to believe, but they received an additional $100 million in state aid, yet they're charging the taxpayers $14 million increase, or a 40% increase. Even though they got $100 million extra within the last 5 years, they increased the tax levy by 40%. Incredible. But yet they're proud and of their tax increase and feel like the taxpayers will be happy to pay them. The other distortion that they've made in their monthly meeting is that the Board of Ed has no debt. Well, that's a wonderful statement. That's terrific. They compare it to the city of Elizabeth's debt. The Elizabeth Board of Ed construction is all paid for by the state. They have no debt, and that's the reason why. State aid and state construction. The SCC construction years ago built all their high schools, not them. I think we can just see by these simple facts that Commissioner Trujillo and the Board of Ed has no consideration really for the taxpayers of the city. They completely distort and misrepresent the facts and try and go through with these graphs that I think a first-year accounting student would find deplorable. I have a recommendation for the Board of Ed, a couple of recommendations. One is they have $15 million in surplus. They don't call it surplus anymore. That's too evident. What they call it, I believe now, is balanced appropriations. $15 million in their account. You can't come up with $3.5 million of that to avoid this 7.5% tax increase, or $3.5 million of the state aid of $100 million that they had collected in the last 5 years. They're ridiculous. I believe that they could use either state aid again or a surplus to cover that increase. And I would also make a recommendation that they go back and check their own policy pledge for ethics and their core beliefs. I would recommend that they read those again and try and follow their own policies. Again, I always like to leave any discussion on the Board of Ed with the simple fact: they have a $500 million budget, they have 25,000 students, that's a $20,000 cost per student. That would probably pay for a Harvard tuition and books. That's it.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Sugai. I want to say thank you for bringing it to our attention, because I know that for you to go to that limit to bring those items to our attention, it's not because of politics. It's because you care about the city, and also the lies that they put out and the distortion that propaganda that they sent to the homes of residents is unconscionable.
It's a political statement.
Yeah, they're rotten from the core, you know, and very mean-spirited to think that, you know, people are going to believe their propaganda. And you should be glad and happy to pay for a tax increase. It's unreal. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about it, colleagues?
Well, I'd like to make a comment, if I can.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like the letter to go down to the Division of Education, Department of Education. I'd like to find out if this is something that should come out of their Board of Ed budget to be sent out, this information, or is this a political piece that should be paid for by the election funds of those respective commissioners? That's what I'd like to find out. Because
Well, what about the distortion of the truth?
well, we've already heard that it's all a bunch of crap.
That should be included in the letter, and
But
I've
should we
already
send it to
started
the
to draft it.
ethics?
But I'd like to send them a copy of this, Yolanda.
Okay.
Because the last time they tried to send out a political piece paid for by the Board of Education, they got slammed and they ended up having to go in their pocket.
Fajardo and the superintendent.
And the superintendent
Was it
said-
67 or 80,000?
$83,000.
Yeah.
So if it comes out that this is also a political piece,
Okay.
I think that
Trujillo.
Trujillo and Council and President Montero and whoever else should be paying for this. Shouldn't be, I mean, they probably spent another $83,000 to $100,000 doing this. I mean, this is where the Board of Ed budget gets increased every year on this stuff. Instead of educating the kids.
Anything else? All right, good. Councilwoman, you finished or you need more?
I didn't speak.
I guess what, okay.
I
Go ahead.
didn't know, I just made a
Go ahead.
editorial.
Okay, that's no problem.
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you.
What's right?
Okay, the African American community is hosting their annual parade on the Sunday, September 15th. And they would like all members of city council to attend. In addition to that, if you know people within your ward or in your sphere of influence, please encourage them to come out. It's going to be a nice event, and it's going to be on Sunday, September 15th. It's going to start at 2 p.m. sharp at Elizabeth Avenue at the Blue Point Road, you know, the square, and it's going to conclude in front of City Hall. All of you should have received the postcard in your boxes. Number 2, we need the weeds at 163 Reed Street. Yeah, we need them to be cleaned up again. And on Tuesday, next Tuesday, we don't have a council meeting, so you gentlemen can take your naps before this. But there's going to be a movie at 10 p.m. Just an evening of awareness regarding autism. Is something that Autism Speak is sponsoring throughout the state of New Jersey. And the Jersey Gardens AMC Theater is also hosting the movie Oblivion. Did I say it right?
Oblivion.
I said it right?
Oblivion.
It's only $3. I know the movie has just been released on, what is that? DVD, whatever that thing is. But I haven't seen the movie. Have you guys seen the movie? Well, act like you didn't see the movie. And come out and just help us. You know, we're trying to bring an awareness of autism programs here in the city of Elizabeth. Myself, along with the health director, and our new council person, Councilman Torres. He understands it directly because, you know, of his son. But we would like for everyone to come out and just, you know, bring your neighbors and friends. I think it'll be a fun time. It's kind of late, but like I said, if you need to take a nap before the movie, you know, do so. And come out and have fun.
And all the money goes to...
All the money, all the
goes to the
proceeds,
program.
yeah, would go to autism awareness things. And I had something else. Oh, yes. I'm quite sure everyone received this regarding the residents on Norris Avenue. Regarding they asking for help. They feel that there's too much noise there. You have an establishment with their windows open and all the noises, it just emanates throughout the whole neighborhood. And they just feel that they're being overrun by nightclubs and there's no longer peace and quiet in their neighborhood. I know it's kind of hard because Morris Avenue is also a business district, but you also have a lot of residents who live in that corridor and on the side streets. So I don't know, Councilman, if you can just try to assess the situation and see, you know, there is I never see an open cafe like that, you know, where there's mixed use, where there's people who live in the neighborhood, and it's just almost like a strip club place at night. So maybe we can send a cop over there or someone from ABC in terms of the noise. After 11 o'clock at night, we do have a noise ordinance in the city.
10 o'clock.
Is it at 10 o'clock? Okay, I thought it was 11. But we need to do something because the people are crying out for help. And you really, you know, it's too, you know, they can't put their name or anything because, you know, people are so treacherous. You tell people to stand up, and then when they stand up, people try to shoot them down. They're trying to stand up. So I think as a body, the people are crying to us. They said, please help us. So I'm going to first put it in your hands.
I have a copy too, if you want to
Okay.
get a copy.
So maybe we can try to do something, you know, and not just turn our backs on the residents.
I just wanted to comment on that. I know the detective went out already recently within the last week and gave a copy of the ordinance to all the main restaurants and bars that are there. So that was something recently done. So but we'll look into it.
They said the train station bar it has music and the bars outside of their establishment. You know, they just ask them why, you know, and then the corner bar, like I stated, more, you know, it's like open glass. I mean, is that permissible? Can we send someone, I mean, I don't know, is that an ABC thing? Is it construction?
Yeah, I know ABC went out and made them turn off the music, the outside music. So that this was the last weekend. So.
And also for the information, I was told that some of those bars in that area was issuing out services for the loud music.
Okay, so we probably need to keep a watchful ear and eye open just to see. So at least the residents know that something is happening, you know, and their cries are not going on deaf ears.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, Councilman Grover.
Bless you.
Bless you. Pass. Councilman Grover.
I just wanted to follow up on a couple things. Yolanda, can you send a letter to the ABC secretary? I thought that we had put a restriction on opening these windows when they first came before us years ago. Then the place shut down for a while, and we got a new license. If you can pull back all of the past documents pertaining to this particular place. It used to be My Fair Lady, then became the cafe. Now it's called Chupitos, Chipotle's.
Chupitos.
Because I remember us limiting the opening of those windows. And I could tell you that I drove by there a couple weekends ago when it almost knocked my car over, how loud it was. So if we could just check to see, because I think it is an ABC issue. But I'd like to find out before our next ABC meeting, what's the history on those windows being open. And just to follow up on Mrs. Zangaro's comments, we have in front of us a letter from the business administrator over at the Board of Ed asking for $10 million of their $52 million to be transferred over to them within the next 30 days. And it's to cover their expenses, debt service requirements for the next 8 weeks. So I'm a little concerned as to how it is they're spending $10 million in 8 weeks. Is it just, that's when the bills are coming in? I'd like to find out why is it that they're asking for $10 million to cover their expenses for a period of 8 weeks. That's a lot of money for 8 weeks, when the total amount they're going to get is $52 million. So it's like a fifth, 20% of their amount to be spent in 8 weeks. That's it.
Councilor Evans.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, can that money be held in escrow and not handed to them because of the allegations that they put in that publication? Can we do something, can we look into that?
We can look into it.
If we can hold their money in escrow?
We've tried that, Councilwoman, we've tried that years ago, and legally, we're bound to make the payments. But we'll look into it again.
Because case law changes.
We'll look into it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, Councilman Mazza.
Mr. President, I have two memorial. One I think was requested by the third ward councilor from Marion L. Palmieri. She happened to be a committee woman from the third many years ago. Edmund Palmieri, former freeholder Union County's mother. And then a memorial for Patsy Cupo. Also, I'll have the information, Yolanda, for you.
Oh, thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, 2013 here, right? We're still in 2013. I thought we went in a different world. When is the city council and the board of ed should get together? They're both working for the betterment of our city, Mr. President. And we're working for the betterment of our children, the school system. Francisco, you're an former educator, so is myself, I don't know, any other educator in the classroom. I mean, I'm Mr. Reverend, whatever. It's very important. I know in Italy we spend a lot of money for the education of the children, and it's better to spend money for the education process than spending money to pay judges, police officers, court administrators, and all the other people that fall into court, into jail, and then state jails and everything else. That's definitely. But if we're educating our children the right way and we spend the money wisely, I think should be the right thing. I just read that thing that, Tony, I'm not gonna defend the newspaper because I just glanced right through those figures, but apparently there's something that it's happening every year. A says B says and we're fighting on the same thing. It's a matter of a number that the Board of Ed and the number that the City of Elizabeth, we have to get together and be able to work in a good direction, because at the end, there's money that comes out all from us. I'm a taxpayer, I get paid from the city, and I get paid from the Board of Ed. Okay, but I pay a lot of taxes for a property that is not worth how much the city's assessed me for my property. I have no driveway, I don't find a parking space. You know, maybe we should look into make more revenue to the city in other area for the illegal conversion, the attic. People live in the attic, people living might be in the basement, people overcrowded. In one bedroom, there's 7 people. Come on, I mean, it's really, it's uncalled for. So I leave it at that because I don't have all the statistics, but not too long ago, I did request information to the law department, play to play. I know that we don't have an ordinance that we, in the city, but we follow the state according to our director of the law department. I know Boken has some kind of an ordinance that they are locating in the city, Bayonne, Jersey City, I think that's what the 3 city. And I see that something arrived from the Mr. Kennedy from the Board of Ed recommending you know, to the city fathers and mothers or whatever we want to call them, a pay-to-play restriction and a resolution to be, I'll make a motion that we adopt the one that just came in, if this, or give it to the law department to either to see that that is correct, that we do the right thing, you know, give it to Mr. Ozaffo. If it's wrong, to fix it, and then to come back to us, so we could adopt something in the city. The state, I got a pile this big, you know, all those things, and I think even if I was an attorney, I will probably still be confused, but this is something more logistically more way to do. So as a councilman, I'll make a motion that this goes in, you know, after review from the law department, we'll go.
I'll have the attorney to review it, Councilman.
Right.
I have county attorney.
I mean, I, as a council, Mr. President, you do whatever you want to do, but I am in favor to have something on the book for the city of Elizabeth, so we're performing what it is, not the one from the state, and that's it. Then I made a motion in which I got the table content. Last week, we tabled something that I reviewed my record, and I went to the old record, and I find that the same 2 companies we approved last year, $40,000, the same amount, and Mr. Zingaro did give me the information this evening, a copy of what I was requesting for, you know, and I was really in limbo. Those determination wasn't there, attached it. So there's a lot of things that sometimes I receive as a 6th Ward councilman, and it says per attachment, then we don't have the attachment, then I have to request to get it back, Mr. President. So if it's appropriate, I'll make a motion to take them off the table. So I'm satisfied with the information that I received by Mr. Zingaro this evening. So that could be on the agenda for the next time that we vote. Thank you, Yolanda, for the information also. Okay? And let me see what I have. And then I will give Mr. President, our city clerk, the name of the 2, might be 1 or 2 handicapped that I put on hold. One, I think, on DR Place. On 35, I think, DR Place, but I'm not sure. I got to get my agenda at home. And then, Mr. President, most of the people alongside the river in my ward, and especially around the 4th Avenue stretch all the way down to the end into the first or 2nd ward or whatever, people receive a registered mail return receipt, and as a person that I went to the post office today and I had to sign, and there was the same thing. A lot of the people there got in touch with me, and after I read the letter, I think, I don't know if you need to be a genius. People got confused, you read it, and at the end is what? Do I sign this? Landlord must sign, or the owner of the land, whatever. It was a little bit confusing, which I called the city engineer. I'm meeting with him tomorrow sometime around 11 o'clock to see the easy way to explain to the people. And not this letter, Tony, you live in a in the area of Center, you probably received the same letter to us, right? So a lot of people got it. I mean, you know, it's part of that $1.3 million project that I think, what's his name, the guy McDonald, whatever they call it.
Hedgemont.
Right.
Hedgemont.
Right, we award them like 1.2 or 1.3 million dollars to conduct the study. That actually, it's been the last 3, 5, 6 months, they went up and down, you know, the area of my ward actually, and I don't know what happened. I would like to see what was the final study from this particular gentleman that did the study, and that we allocated the money. He got paid, but I didn't see the final study from him. Okay, Mr. President, I'm finished. Thank you very much.
You finished, Councilman?
Yes.
Councilman Questa? That's, Councilman Sedan?
Yes, just a couple things. One, I'm also in support for the pay-to-play ordinance. Just want to make that comment. Want to request 2 commendations. One for Pastor Larry Dixon. I'm not sure if all of my colleagues know, but he's been transitioned to a different role. So just thanking him for all the years of ministry he's had in the community. And at the same note, commendations for Pastor Gibson, who's the new pastor of Mount Heman. Just thanking him and inviting into the community. I wanted to bring up, I know Councilwoman mentioned about the flags. Around the city, I've been seeing them more, like the teardrop flags near the curb, near the sidewalk. I don't know if you've seen them, like the tall ones. They look like a teardrop.
Usually by the liquor stores.
Yeah, apparently, like there's the people that make them. They've been encouraging businesses to drill a hole on city property on the sidewalk. So they come out and they stick the pole in, and more I've been seeing them pop up throughout the whole city. So I just don't know if we have anything in the books when it comes to that in particular. But at the same time, like they're making the hole on city property, they're drilling everything. And just 2 more requests. Across from School 23 on Union Avenue, the triangles there. And not the side of the triangle right next to the school, but the other side in front of the houses. I wanted to make the left-hand side, let's say if you're coming from the Parker Road side and you're coming up that little one-way, the left-hand side, like no parking anytime between the signs except for Tuesdays from 8 to 11 when they have street cleaning.
You're talking about in the triangle area?
Yeah, just one side of it, no parking between signs. The reason being is because during the school year, there's cars parked on both sides. It jams up. A lot of times the school, well, you could easily tell you, like the school buses, anyone that tries to go through that street, is impossible. So just wanted to make a request, no parking anytime, just that on that one side, except for Tuesdays from 8 to 11, because that's the street cleaning. And the last request I had asked a while ago on Lower Road, heading towards North Broad Street, there's a no turn on red in that corner. And I just wanted to see if we could make a no turn on red from 7 in the morning to 7 p.m. because that's a long light. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is understandable, but at 8, 9 p.m., neighbors, you get caught up in that red light. You're there a good couple minutes, no cars passing by. So I don't know if anyone responded from that. Not yet. So.
Did we forward to it?
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to say I had the privilege this evening of hosting a National Night Out, and I want to thank everybody for coming and attending this evening. I think we had a great turnout. The weather was great as well, and it turned out to be a great event. So
good job,
I want to thank everyone for participating.
Very nice
this
job.
evening. I also want to congratulate Councilwoman and Councilman for taking a role and lead in raising awareness for autism and what they're doing with this movie thing. I think autism in New Jersey is a big problem. I think we're the leaders in the nation when it comes to diagnosis of autism, and there are very few programs available. I know families we've had on council, families that come and asking about resources here in our community, and there just really aren't any resources for family there with children and who are inflicted with autism. So I want to congratulate you on, taking a lead with that. The only other thing I have that I'd like to find out is Mr. Rodriguez took the time this evening to bring us this book of whatever is here, and I don't know if we're going to take and have the law department and
Yes.
maybe financial officer take
Yeah,
a look at it
yes.
and give us some feedback on it or whatever. I don't know if there's any merit to what he presented this evening or not, but I think he did take the time to come out this evening, and we should at least give it a look and see if there is any merit or anything we can do to work together.
Yeah,
with this
that's
problem.
my intention, to let the law department review that booklet, what he gave us, and see what it is that we need to do or don't do with what the maturity gave us. Because, let's face it, he said we haven't been working with it, but that's not true. We really, I think, really turned a little backwards. And I personally myself said a couple of times, or the councilwoman has said a couple of times, when we was trying to mend fences with them, wait and give them a chance, and we kept prolonging it. But you go so long, after a while, people start to beat you up. But for him to say that we haven't been trying to work with him, I think it's unfair to all of us. When they say that, I don't like that when you say we haven't been working with us.
And I agree with you, Councilman. And last year, when he came before us, I was council president, and we took the vote, and I was one of the vote, one of those 5 votes. Because we gave him plenty of time, and we tried to work with him as much as we could. But if there is something we can do,
absolutely,
I think we should.
I agree. That's why I said we give it to the attorney and let them take a look at it. Wait, let me make sure he's done.
Yeah, not Mr. President, thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I had 3 turns. But, I'm going to agree with you, Councilman Gonzalez, that if he took the time to put all this together, there must be some merit in it. And, just like he stated, there's always 3 sides to the story. What you perceive, what I perceive, and then the truth. And I think this body looks at the truth. So I'm thinking that the only story we should concern ourselves with is the truth. And I'm hopeful that whatever the truth is, that it will bear itself out, and then we will abide by the truth. So if we can just, Mr. Zagara, go through your, have your bean counters, your junior bean counters, we look at this, and the law department, if you can ask Mr. Holsapple to see what merit it is. Because I think the last time he came before us, there was some discussion that he was suing the city, and I believe that he is not suing the city, to my understanding, that the gentleman has no lawsuits against the city, or no suits against the city. And so we should try to see what it is. We should really try to see what's going on and get at the bottom. I mean, that's all, it's just the truth. No need to say someone was wrong or someone did whatever. Let's just try to work out the truth and see what we can resolve. And I also want to go back to this letter from the Board of Ed. Now, why do they keep mentioning something about exclusive of debt service? What, they talking about the city, or are they talking about the Board of Ed?
No, they claim they don't have any. That's
So then why would they even mention, why would they mention it? Why did they would continually mention it in the resolution? Because if you say you don't have it, then why even? So that's why I really want to hold off on sending them their money, because the fact that you mentioned,
Easy now.
the fact that you mentioned in exclusive of debt service requirements, meaning that you have requirements, that you have debt service. You understand what I'm saying? If I say, give me 10 million, but I'm not gonna use it to pay my debt service requirement, then that's saying that I have debt service. But then the propaganda you send out, you say you have no debt service. So I'm just a little confused by, Mr. Kennedy's direction, because it makes no sense. I was like, why mention debt service if you claiming in your propaganda that there is no debt service? So why you mention it when you pay us this 10 million, it's not going to be used for debt services? So I don't know, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I try to read with comprehension, and maybe someone else can help me, enlighten me on this, Tony, but that's what I read. So that's all I needed to say.
Tony, go ahead. Quick, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick thing on Mr. Rodriguez and the 2 tax statements that he has. Tomorrow, he'll be going to the Superior Court. His partners are trying to remove him as a general partner from both of those tax abatements. The judge will make a decision tomorrow, Superior Court Judge Kessler. And so everything else would, I think, be moot if he is removed as the general partner. You know, I don't want to try the situation here, but in general, we'll let it go to that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, that's why I didn't really make too many comments, Tony. I want to wait to let the attorney, I think that's what we need to let this rest in the attorney's hand. Once they get let them review that packet that Mr. Rodriguez provided to us, and then they provide us the answer, because we're not attorney. I mean, we got attorneys here on the board, of course, but let's face it, we have paid attorneys, and they'll get the information, they'll feed it back to us, and then they'll head us in the right direction. Councilman Pro.
Mr. Chairman, just want to make 2 points. Number one, I forgot to mention it, and I wanted to make sure that it goes on record. Councilman Gonzalez, tonight's National Night Out was probably the biggest attended National Night Out we've had in the city of Elizabeth in the years that I've
In a while,
recall. So congratulate you, and you guys did a great job of getting that thing organized. And I also want to echo in the commendations that were given to our police department, fire department, doing a great job, and you guys chose great recipients. And I just wanted to follow up on the councilman's comment. Maybe the law department could look into if there's anything we can regulate with those
Yeah, those.
banners.
Banners.
Get back to us with, because I know we have those, we have regulations on A signs.
And all the signs.
You know, anything that goes on the sidewalk. So this, I think, would fall in there. It's just a matter of modifying the definition of what it is. And I think if we do that, then we could have an ordinance to enforce against these.
But even if someone, like the councilman alluded to, if someone's putting a hole in the sidewalk, then we automatically we should just rip it up, because
Should be a violation.
it's on public right of way. And that's what my comments were
Yeah.
a month ago, that the people said it's on the public right of way, so it falls on the city to
All we have to do is just amend the ordinance to define, to include in
Well,
it
we
a
don't want
definition.
them, we don't want them.
Right,
because
but
it looks
we already
terrible.
have an ordinance that says no. But it's just a matter of tweaking it to include
Yeah,
this.
No, but you can't have people to put something on the public right of way without the city giving them
Right.
Right.
the
Except
permission.
they're doing it without permission, there
Yeah,
should
so,
be
yeah,
a violation.
so we should just pull them off.
Well, what
Is that
is-
public or
residential
just yank
area.
them out the ground?
What it is that they come in and they make the hole in the cement, but they bring in the pole
At night.
at night.
Right.
So that's why, like, to a certain degree, like, you know, it's a hole in
So
the
you
street.
have the public or?
That's what I said.
Like, we would have to fill the hole.
We fill the hole and pull
Fill
the
it
things
up.
up, yeah.
Is there a specific location where this is happening?
Right on Westfield Avenue.
I've seen them on Elizabeth Avenue,
The one right by that bar with
Morris
the open
Avenue.
windows.
That's what the city inspector should be.
I alluded you guys to this a whole month ago.
Okay, I have a couple things. You guys got a couple things. I urge you guys, and this is serious, I urge you guys very seriously. We all get our package during the course of a week's time. Some, like I said, when we have July and August break time, we have it sitting there for at least 2 or 3 weeks. I urge you, read, come in, take time, read your material. Once we sit here and we said, put this agenda, put this item on the agenda, and we get before the public session, and I have council people saying, wait a minute, I didn't get a chance to read my material. Well, that's not my fault, our fault. We have every opportunity to come in periodically, to drop in. I was through this office about 2 or 3 times this week, just to make sure material here that I read before us. And not only because I'm the president, I'll do it even when I'm not the president. I'll stop in, see what material is facing us when we get here. So when we sit here in this session, and we all agree, because it looks bad when we sit here and say, put the item on the agenda, and we get out there, and we say, well, I got a problem, and then we want to hold it or talk about it, discussion. Here's the time that we should be discussing those matters, and if there's a problem, Tony, the attorney, Yolanda, ask them to get the information before us. We have 2 or 3 items tonight that we said put it on the agenda, pending information that we would put it on the agenda when the night comes. We have ample time to do that. Do not wait till the night of the meeting and tell me that you didn't have time to read your material. Well, guess what? We're not gonna hear it because you have ample enough time, guys. That's what this work session is all about. You have plenty of time. And even if you not meet twice a month, you have a whole week to get that information back to you. And Tony is very good in form of information. So I urge you, gentlemen and ladies, please, I know you don't.
Mr. President, there's another side to the story.
Sir?
You brought it up. This is the time that we
Mr.
discuss.
Mazza, you're out of order. I do not want, I gave you once around, I don't want, right now.
No, but you open up something that you need to have a reply, Mr. President.
I'm asking you to.
Then you're being unfair.
Mr. Mazza, I asked you,
Yeah, sure, that's
I'm
all right.
asking you,
Yeah. Wow.
I'm asking you, you're out of order, so I asked
I'm
you
out of
to
order.
wait, yes. Because I have the
So
floor
you asked
right
me
now.
to wait? I'll
Yes,
wait.
well,
But you
I
have
got
to give me the floor.
Right.
Thank you, I'll wait.
Right, right. So I'm not gonna hear this again, okay? I'm asking you, you're out of order until I finished it and I have the floor. I
thought you
gave
finished.
once around and that's it.
you
So I'm
finished.
asking to reach you with everybody, and this is not one for one person, this is everybody. The other thing is, we asked for accommodation. He asked Yolanda to put accommodation on. Please, ma'am, please, sir, get the backup material for the law department so that they can put that, whatever accommodation you're asking for, okay? I've got a request for that. The other thing is, 2 more things. One thing is, be aware. We talked about this a couple of years ago. I first brought it up, and I think Councilman Gonzalez brought it up. What they're doing around the city, public work is, they're starting to paint the curbs again. So please, ma'am, please, sir, be aware of getting calls about getting tickets on the painted curve or lack thereof for the 25 feet, for the crosswalk, 50 feet from a stop sign. They may have been kind of like not doing it before. They're starting to enforce that again. I received a couple of calls myself. I'm pretty sure you guys won't be too far from behind it, because I noticed that they're starting to paint some of the curves, because I think we passed the ordinance some time ago to allow them to purchase paint to paint the curve. If you recall that, everybody recall that?
Yes.
Well, they're doing it now. So please, ma'am, please, sir, be aware of the curve being painted, and they are issuing summaries of that. And last but not least, I know it's a little early, but I would love for us to start thinking about, and I mentioned to the girls today, about our Christmas party. I know it's early, it's August, I know it's August, but last year, you recall, we did not have anything because Mary had lost her husband at the time. But she seemed like she was excited. They want to kind of mention that, and I want to keep that spirit going. I know it's early, but just keep that in mind so we can start putting it together. And I told them also to start thinking about where they want to have it at.
They want to go to New York.
I'm not going to tell you what they told me.
They probably said Hawaii.
They want a limousine. They want a limousine, sir. They want a limousine, sir.
Everyone
So-
can have their spirit.
Hey, we didn't have one last year.
Yeah, so I
we
told
have to double up.
So they'll ask for limousine service. I said, okay, what else?
That's why everyone can be in the spirit and then.
So anyway, with that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to entertain a third and second rebate about reading material. I'm going to ask for adjournment. So
So moved,
at
Mr.
this
President.
meeting adjourned.
Did I have Louis,